Like, what's your earliest memory?
Well, when we were put in the orphanage, my sister and I, my sister Anne and I, we had a very good education, but under very strict supervision.
How old were you when you went into the
I don't
orphanage?
know, they made me older, but I don't know from what. But I know they made me older.
How old are you now?
According to what my brother told me, I'm 82, going on 83. But I really don't know exactly.
Do you remember anything before the orphanage?
No. The only thing I remember going in there, and we were there very on supervision. This teacher took us to school, brought us back from school. We were in the school, there were the teachers. Played outside, the teacher was there. We were under supervision. My brother Morris sent us tickets to come to this country. When we got on the way here to this country, we had to go to Romania. We became Romanians. We didn't know the language. We didn't know anything. My sister and I got off in Bucharest. There,
What year was that, Mama? Do you know what year it was?
1920, I came here. So 1920, we got off to Bucharest. And we didn't know the language. Strange people took us by the hand. They saw two little girls. They took us where we had to go. In Europe, the war was still on, 1920. And the train was broken. I got off. My uncle sent us to Mrs. Lecker. There I didn't feel good. And I was supposed to look just like my dad, except my daddy was very tall. And that's what I heard. I don't remember them. Coming out there from the bedroom, I didn't feel good. There was a woman, Mrs. Lecker's a friend. She looked at me. She says, "My God, that child looks just like my daughter-in-law." So she says to him, Mrs. Leck says, "Light Prester send them here. They're going to America." She says, "Light Prester, come here, little girl. Who's Light Prester to you?" I said, "My uncle." "How's he your uncle?" "My mother's brother." Day or two, I don't remember, it's a long time ago, a beautiful young girl comes in. Beautiful. Started asking me, "What's your mother's name?" I said, "Bryna." She looked at me, she took us, dressed me up, bought beautiful clothes, high heels, a veil, a traveling veil, clothes, gorgeous, and she pleaded with us. It was like the holy holidays coming on. She pleaded us to remain in Romania.
Who was she to you, Mama?
My cousin. So to make the story short,
I'll make it short.
so going there, she dressed her up, pleading with us to remain. I said, "No, we want to go already to America." Coming to America, we got lost. We had the Carpathian on one side, the Daniel the other side. Anne said on one valise and I on the other. We didn't understand no fear. We were never out alone. So all of a sudden a boat was going up. We watched a nice little white boat. The boat came back and a sailor took her luggage, was talking. We didn't understand and we followed them. There was an American general. It seems that the youth spoke German. They had to learn Romanian. They ran away. They bombed the train, the boats. That's what when we were on the boat, so the general said, "Why, you see this hook over there?" I says, "Yeah, but the hose hang." She says, "Wait, if I had your parents, I hang them right here." I says, "What have you got against my parents? They didn't hurt you." She said, "Well, you take two kids, you send them over land and sea. How could you do a thing?" I looked at him, I says, he started to tell us before the history. He saw we are far advanced for young children. So I says, "You have nothing against my parents." He said, "How do you take?" I says, "Well, we have no parents." He looked at us and then he said, showed us a ring, that he's a Mason, told us we go to this country, we should only go to policemen. Very beautiful, beautiful, the way he then gave us over to place, and the ship where my brother paid, Wilson sank 5 hours we got there.
Before you got there, the ship had
five
sunk?
hours. We came here as in a freight ship. Waiting for the ship, somebody cut out my pocketbook. I didn't know my brother's address. I didn't know, and I came on the boat crying. And the English officer says, "Why are you crying?" And the one man yelled at us, one sailor yelled at us outside, why we didn't watch. So it seems to be a man in a working overalls got a hold of this. The officer yelled at him, and he gave me money. But who would take from a man? I didn't want to take no money. I got on the boat and was crying. So a officer, it seemed to be English, said to me, "Where does your brother live?" I said, "I don't know. I got the address like it there. They took it away. I don't know." He says, "You got anything, a picture?" And I says, "Yeah, I got a picture." I gave him the picture, and he said to me, "Don't worry, your brother will be there on time." But I was already hours late, the days late, because I got lost with Anne. And then he called up the paper during the night, and my brother was there to get us in time. They picked us up. That cousin, they have their designers and friends, and she got a hold of it. They got a hold of the like daughter, and they said, "How dare we to help strangers, our own flesh and blood, should be on an offering?" And that happened to be the daughter of a banker, like Jacob Pressler. And according what I heard, the rest you heard, that they went over to his brother, the four Gestapo boys. You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
Do you
Four
want
Gestapo brothers walked over to my cousin, Emil. "Either you marry my sister or not, we're going to cut your throat." Four Gestapo brothers. He had to marry her. He went, they sent him to Rio de Janeiro. I thought you heard about it. They sent him to Rio de Janeiro. Then he went in a business there. He helped the Jews in every way. That cousin Fritzie, that was so nice to her, he paid plenty to save her. Well, anyhow, she was on the boat with an 8-year-old child. England bombed the boat, the Stormer. He bombed the boat. She was there amongst them. And Emil Ressler, he helped a lot. When you walked in society, the viceman will come out. My sister-in-law asked him, "Do you know him?" "No, he sent so much help, so much money." When on the, and then he had a heart attack. He was on the sedation. She brought out the lawyer, the judge, the doctor, and they signed the will. Everything went to Gestapo's.
I'd like to say something at this point. I
How come
think,
you're qualified?
no, I think that if we really want to get this story, we really have to ask questions and keep Grandma on track. Because otherwise, there are
Yeah,
lots
good.
of other stories that get so confusing. I mean, I
So why
know,
don't you ask her?
all right, I know all these stories,
Good.
and I know what she's saying, but I don't think anybody who doesn't know them can follow, because they're so, in
Well,
so many
really,
directions.
it doesn't matter. This is.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch this, and
Keep talking
who's
to
gonna
the
watch this?
camera.
What do you think this is gonna? You're never gonna watch
Talking
this.
to the camera.
You're gonna be
And tell
surprised.
stories.
What?
I'll bet you
No,
won't
no,
want to see
I
it.
can't-
Wait a second, let's talk a minute.
They're
What
all
I'm
talking.
suggesting,
Why don't you go on
is
camera?
that-
and suggest?
what I'm suggesting is that we get Grandma on track.
Well, why discuss it? Why don't you get her
Is
on
that
track?
agreed upon,
Well, what
or
do you
maybe you
agree?
disagree with me? I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to take a consensus.
It
Okay,
is a miracle how we really
This is
got
called
here.
upstaging. in theater.
miracle.
This is Brenda upstaging her mother.
What is it?
That's what she used to do when she was a kid.
Oi.
Instead, this time she upstaged her by. I have a debate. I have a discussion I'd like to do.
okay,
Let's have a discussion about my subject, not about what she was doing.
okay, all right. So, you know what, I know there are a lot of stories about a lot of people,
There you go.
but I think that we get sidetracked. I think we should go back a little bit and talk about, what do you know about your parents before you went to the
I
orphanage,
don't
and
know
how,
anything.
will you know where they lived?
We had a beautiful big place, a gorgeous place. And when we went there. By the time Betty was 21, Hitler was in power.
Let's start at the beginning though. You had a place,
Yeah,
and where was it? In what country?
the outskirts of Chernobyl.
Which is in what country?
Brodak.
Is that Romania or
Became-
Austria?
At the time I was an Austrian.
So you were an Austrian because,
After the war we became Romanian.
okay, so it was a town near Chernovitz
It is a little further than that.
in Austria. And how many children were there?
We were 8 children.
8.
Yeah.
And you were, where were you? You were third from the bottom? There were 2
No.
younger than you?
2 younger.
Right.
And I don't know nothing about my parents. I don't remember. Betty was
and
just born.
Who?
My sister Betty was born. My
Just born
mother-
when your mother died?
My mother went to see her brother. She got pneumonia. And she fitted, those days they didn't find no clothes. You had to get your dressmaker to make clothes. And she says it was like in the fall, she has to go back, she was sick. In those days they had no automobiles, they had wagons, they got their own, wagon. And she told her chauffeur, the middle of the night, he should take her home because my uncle didn't want her to go home because she had a cold. In the middle of the night, she ran home and the uncle went in. He saw that she wasn't there. This is the story I heard. And he followed. When he got her back, she was like in a coma. She had pneumonia. She died there.
And Betty was a baby.
Betty was just born.
And your father was still alive?
Yeah.
And
for
what
3 years.
happened then? He lived for 3 years after your mother
Yeah.
died. And what happened?
What happened, he was a very unhappy man. He was a very handsome man. They want to marry him, a young woman, young girl. He says, you could make me a good wife, but you can't be a mother to my children. Well, anyhow, there was trouble with the water. They built a well, and he took a drink and some other, and he had neglected cold. Those days, they didn't have no penicillin, anything, and he died in consumption.
And then you went to the orphanage with Aunt Anna.
Yeah.
And what happened to Aunt Betty?
The town terrain it took her.
And what happened to Aunt Sadie and Aunt Bertha?
The Morris took and Sadie, and Sam, and
Morris,
my brother
Sam.
Izzy, and Sadie together to America.
Oh, so the
Before-
4 oldest went to America.
Yeah.
And what happened to Aunt Bertha?
But they came with Betty from Vienna after me, a year after me,
Where did Bertha stay when you were in the orphanage with Aunt Anna?
with Tante Reina.
So she took Bertha and she took the baby.
Yeah,
And then you stayed in the orphanage till you were about 13.
yeah.
About 13. And
Yeah.
at 13, you came to America.
Yeah.
And we know that story now.
Yeah, we came to America. But the idea was very strongly against that they put us into the orphanage, and Uncle Light, they were...
Right. That
That's right.
the family had a great deal of money, and
Yes.
they shouldn't have allowed 2 of
Yeah.
you to go to an orphanage.
Yeah.
What was the name of the orphanage?
You see,
What was the name of the orphanage?
Kaiser Königlich Israelitisches Waisenhaus.
Weisenhaus.
Kaiser Königlich Israelitisches Waisenhaus. There was a...
I only got
you had to
Weisenhaus.
come from a good home to go there.
Where was Weisenhaus?
In Chernobyl.
In the city.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Okay. And so at 13, you came over on the freighter. The ship you were supposed to come over on had sunk. Right.
Sank 5 hours before we got
So,
there.
in other words, had she not gotten
You
lost,
see,
she would have been
yeah,
on a ship that
Like,
sank.
I want to ask you something. How come I happen to be the granddaughter to a banker in Sadagura, they were? How come that we should have been in an orphanage? I had an uncle, a mayor. How come we should be in an
Burgermeister,
orphanage?
right?
And that, what do you mean?
Didn't you used to call him a Burgermeister?
Bürgermeister.
Yeah.
Bürgermeister. And I come from, and that's why when my cousin Fritzi found out that we were an orphanage, she didn't know anything. It was something terrible. So what's her name? The Uncle Leib's Leib's daughter said to the Beetleven, som moest bereden, the beggars, because, but they asked him, where is my mother? The beautiful house we had, that we lost it because Betty was by the time Betty was 21, Hitler was already in it, and I'm all alone. Where am I gonna go? I don't know anything about it, so we left it go.
When you came to this country, Mama, you once told me you had this dream about your mother coming to you you want to
Showed me no, that was on the way, so help me God, that I tell you the truth. I was in Romania, and my mother came my dream. I should see my family, everything so good. Dear God, you know I tell the truth. It's hard to believe it, the truth. Show me the broken little glass. My brother, I didn't know him with the blue eyes and the blonde hair. I don't know why I never mentioned it. I remember when my brother made the first Seder night we were here, and he says, open up for Elena Novi. It came my dream. Maybe Nate had, I don't know why I never told it to him, but now I'm older, I come out and I tell it. So help me God, my mother showed me my brother.
So that when you came to America, you knew
In
who he was.
Romania. I saw him the way my mother showed me. I didn't know my family. We didn't know one another. We were, two in Vienna, two in Cleveland, Ohio, two in New York, and I in Chernovitz. But thank God we all got together. My brother supported us.
And you lived in New York, all of you moved in together.
Always in a good neighborhood. We moved in the first apartment, 6 or 8 rooms, I don't remember, in the Bronx.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
stop here now.
And then I got married.
Yeah, well, when did you meet Sydney?
Oh, you wanna?
Yeah. when
Oh,
did
so
you
then
meet
what?
Sydney?
Wait, do the period before Sydney. Tell us. I'm going to move over there, and you tell us about living in New York
Yeah.
with your brothers for a few minutes, okay? Then you'll tell the Sydney story. Then
Living in New York, we started to work. We worked young, and I happened to be a very good millionaire. And one time, I was going out, should I say about my husband?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
One time, I was going out with a boy, I couldn't make up my mind to marry him. I went 5 years with him, we went out to very beautiful places, so Marata. And he said to me, Rosie, if you had a mother, she'd be worried about you that you were not married. I said, don't worry, Maui. When I get a chance, I get married, I got time. We always went to lectures. Going to work one time, we used to go out to eat those days. You were dressed up nice. You used to go out with boys after work. And there was a dressing room, not like today, with pants. We didn't wear those pants. Sitting in the subway, and they left work. We didn't need to take lunch. We made good money as milliners. And a boy they left me a note that they wanted to meet me for lunch. I looked at the note, and a boy looked into I looked at him.
On the subway?
Yeah.
On the subway.
On the subway, I looked at him, I said, you have a rubber neck. So while I was talking to him, he answered me so beautiful. So finally, he was talking to me, and he says to me, pleading with me to take me out. I didn't want to go. Finally, he followed me till I worked, and he says to me, if you're gonna meet me, you find out who I am, you'll be proud of me. Please give me a chance. I didn't speak Yiddish that time. And I said, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I crossed the street. I taken a schmendrick like you. I didn't know what schmendrick meant. I met him that evening. I don't remember the same evening. I came upstairs. I said, Anna.
Tell about the rain,
No, that's all
Mom.
right.
I know she skips things like she. Tell about you were supposed to meet him under the marquee and it was raining at the movie theater.
No, so I don't know. Let me don't remember. So
She'll remember
finally,
your story.
I came down.
She'll
I
remember
said,
her
Anna,
story.
I'm gonna come up. I don't want to go out. I'm too tired. As I come down, he had tickets for a show. I couldn't refuse. To make the story short, he told me his life and everything, and I was amazed with my heart for all of you I saw him. In the morning, I saw him in the evening. 4 weeks later, I was married to him, had a good life. My tenant said to me, Mrs. Waldman, when he died, you never married. You had a man, a highly intelligent man, a good provider, and a good-looking man. And I was a very happy married. I have 2 beautiful children. They're married to nice boys. And I got the most wonderful, wonderful grandchildren. And Brenda's boys will help the world. They will help their doctors. And I hope God should be with them. They should be good people. And thank God, thank you, the Lord, that what you gave to me.